When we have trauma, that means experiences of not being cared for, not being loved, or being abused, or being abandoned, or things of that nature. And those get embodied in our whole system of the mind and thinking. And if we carry that trauma with us, then that part, anything that resembles it just the tiniest bit, can reactivate it and make us feel the feelings as if that's happening again. Or we'll fall into projecting into the future. I'm afraid this is going to happen. I'll be abandoned. I won't be loved. I won't be cared for. I won't be understood, and so on. When we fall into that, then our brain starts experiencing it as if it's happening now. And then we'll actually attract it by focusing on it that way. And so trauma is something that just stays in there in that system as a survival mechanism when it's not needed. And the ego mind is that part of our minds that's been called many names through the centuries: the great deceiver, the wolf in sheep's clothing, the ego, and a whole bunch of names the devil's been called. But anyway, it's that part of our brains that wants to hold on to things as if it's going to protect us and save us, when in fact holding on to it just creates the problem over and over and over again, and causes us to attract that problem area, pick people who will help support that, treat us in the same way and support that problem area, and or for us just to anticipate it and think of it being that way, or fearing it being that way all the time. So all of those means that I'm still living by those past traumas. Whereas if we can use these new tools now that have come up over the last couple of decades or so, where we can deactivate that programming of those traumas, like we delete unwanted information in a computer, we can do the same thing we now know in our brains. And by deleting that, we can have a happier and healthier life and a more productive life in every way. Very early in my career, when I finished my PhD in Boston, I came to New York to get more training because there was nothing in postdoctoral training up in Boston for me to take. And I came down for the only kind there was, mostly at that point, was psychoanalytic. But I lucked out because I was required to have 3 times a week psychoanalysis by part of my training. And most psychoanalysts, if you started to go try out another procedure with another therapist, say, I'm sorry, I can't work with it anymore. You've got to just stay here. But instead, she did something different. She just wove that right into our work. And when I found out this other therapy helped me with a certain problem area, she wove it right in and helped me see how the drawing from a variety of systems can be more comprehensively helpful than just one single form of psychotherapy. And that's what prompted me to start a training institute on that basis. Or I've traveled around the country teaching training seminars all over the country and other countries as well. So if you'd like to explore that as a possibility for yourself, I'd be happy to have a meeting with you and just to talk about it and see how it fits you. And you can reach me at my either Connecticut office in Westport, Connecticut, or in New York City. And you could call me at 212-582-1792 is one good number. And I'll be happy to meet with you and explore these possibilities and how they would fit with you and the problem areas that you bring.